You didn't go on as daintily as me, Kris. Thought I might have needed only. But great to have you here, Kris. We were disappointed that you had a prior engagement for the presentation dinner. You were definitely missed. But certainly, I know Lynn's touched on it, but the representation that we got from the club with the players, the academy, the reserves, the coaching staff was absolutely awesome, and I'm sure you all want to share it. Everybody was just so approachable. There was such ease with having photographs, autographs, everything. They were absolutely brilliant. A real credit to our club.
Yeah, I think they're a great group. You know, they're self-policed. They have a strong leadership group, and you know, the coaching staff to a degree don't really enforce anything because they do it themselves, and that takes a lot of work in the throughout the season, pre-season, kind of building the standards what you want to do. So I guess Matt deserves a lot of credit for that and the leadership group for driving it. I unfortunately couldn't attend because it was my daughter's birthday, and I would rather have been there, to be honest. I promised I'd take her to London, and I was in makeup shops and stuff like that. So it was beautiful, but I'm sorry I couldn't be there.
We definitely missed you. But before we talk about this weekend, which is like, I don't know about all of you, but I can't concentrate on anything. I just keep thinking about Saturday, so if you're getting distracted, keep thinking, keep busy, and then you'll not get all worked up about it. But before we talk about that, I thought I'd ask you, Kris, the season thus far, can you do some reflections on that and tell us just what you think about this season?
Well, you know, I think we went under the radar for a while, but then when you look at the statistics, you know, they don't lie, they paint a really good picture. If you're scoring more tries than anybody else, and you're leaking less tries than anybody else, and you're the most disciplined team in the competition, which was a fact, then there's a good chance of finishing in, you know, first or second position. I think with probably 6 weeks to go in the season, I wouldn't say we've written off the league leaders, but it took a really great effort to go into Catalan and do what we did over there. And then once you've done that, you need a little bit of luck, and then, you know, we sit down and we don't analyse just our fixtures, we look at opposing fixtures, and then as soon as we saw that Catalan had to go to Hull KR, which is, you know, they're a really good team as it is, but to go there, you know, we actually fancied Hull KR to do it, and obviously when they did that, it led to a crazy Friday, I guess, which is what the supporters wanted for a very, very long time, where we can't really predict the results. And it was, you know, I was at the game, and it was compelling viewing throughout Sky Sports on that night because there's so much interest. And I think throughout the course of the season, the games have been so hard to predict. You know, you think you know what you're talking about, and you've not a clue what's going to happen, which is from a league point of view, it's what we've always wanted. Perhaps not from a Wigan point of view, we'd like to win every week, but these games, and if we are to try and drive greater broadcast revenues and increase sponsorship, these are the kind of games that's ultimately going to do it. So I think it's been a fascinating season. I think we've got better and better. I think we've overcome a third degree of adversity. You know, losing Mike Cooper, who was a pack leader early on. Ethan Howard, who's potentially, you know, one of the best players in the competition. I can't underestimate just how good he's going to be. And then, of course, right in the middle, we had Jay Field, who missed probably 10 or 11 weeks. People tend to forget that. So we've done a really great job of kind of peaking at the right time, and, you know, we're playing with a lot of what I would say is good habits. You know, I don't just look at what happens with the ball, I look at what happens without the ball, away from the cameras, and when you see what happens there, that's when you know you've got a good team on your hand.
When you talk there about, you know, the difficulties we had, the forwards we lost because we went through the middle sort of third of the season, and it was 6 and 7 players out, particularly forwards and that. And I think like we put a heavy reliance on the likes of Liam Byrne. How pleased were you with how well we came through that period? I know we didn't win all the games, but it was a real tough period that we came through.
We have to be strong as a group as well. You know, we go to Saints and we lose, but we know that the overall health of the squad, and we're looking at it and saying, listen, let's dig in for three or 4 weeks here. We might lose a few games, but ultimately we know what's coming back, we know what's in front of us, and we have to look 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 games down the line rather than the fans' perspective, which is the result of the weekend. So, I have a good temperature of this town, as you know, I live and breathe it like everybody else, but during that period it's also our job then to kind of protect individual players who come under probably unfair criticism at that time. So I know you mentioned Liam Byrne, we know just what a great player he is and the influence he has on the group, but perhaps things weren't working for him on the field at the time. So that's over to the staff and the leadership group and the players to really build him up. So during that period where we were light on the forwards, that's when the work that you do in the week is more important than what you do at the weekend.
When I referred to Liam, I meant that he actually seemed to carry the team. He was the main forward and took us forward, and I just have a lot of respect for Liam. I think he really has been taught like this season. But equally filling that gap, we've relied on the likes of Junior and Harvey. How impressed have you been with their development?
Yeah, look, we've got a youth development system that produces, the statistics show that a lot of players that we produce here will go to play a lot of games for Wigan. And if they don't, they'll go and play a lot of games for other clubs in Super League. And I think them two in particular, we always thought that they would play a number of games this season. I think what's probably, I won't say caught us off guard, is what I would say is the impact that they've had in games has probably been a little bit greater than probably what we would have thought. I mean, Harvey Hill's played in some big games, semi-finals, and being able to do it technically and physically is one thing, but mentally and emotionally for a young lad, that's another challenge. But he's took it all in his stride. And then Junior's just, he's just different, I mean, we all knew he was a physical lad, but if you had a body like him, you wouldn't buy a t-shirt. Seriously. And we I can't remember what it was, but we had a function. And I don't know if he was late on purpose or fashionably late, probably fashionably late. But he walked in and he doesn't know he's doing it. This is beauty. He just looked like a superstar. And I'm like, this is new. So we've got a serious player on our hands there, and I think the impact, he's probably the one player that most Super League clubs ask me about. He's the one player. So both of them guys have outstanding seasons.
Rumour has it that Junior likes to lift trophies, would that be correct?
I was talking to someone the other day, and the lads had a break in the middle of the season, and they were in the airport, and Junior and Kai they went away for a few days, and they both walked through the airport, and literally they said people just nudging them, looking at these two. It's absolute specimens walking through the terminal, But the beauty thing is that they're really good lads, the lads eating here every day at dinner, and I can always go and sit down next to them, just have a chat, those things, and it's just really respectful guys, which is again credit to the group.
Yeah, they definitely are respectful, and they've always got time, and they always have the chatter. Another player that sadly we're losing, Kai Pierce-Paul, he's another phenomenal player, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. We got him from London 4 years ago. We paid a fee for him. We tried really hard to keep him. We probably offered to treble his wage, but he sat down with us very maturely, very honestly, and just said, "Look, I do fancy going over there." And when it's like that, there's not much more you can do. It's what I always say. It's not just about the financial package. It's the overall holistic view. And he's saying he's always wanted to go to Australia. He's always wanted to go and try it. And as much as we can love this town and love what it's all about. There are some things which we can't provide. But what I would say about Kai, the way he's done it and the manner he's done it and how he's approached this season has been absolutely first draw. And you know, I genuinely hope, well, first of all, I hope he goes over there and performs really well. Second of all, if he doesn't, I hope he comes back here. And I think he will, because we're both doing it the right way.
Yeah, we definitely want him back. He's going anywhere. We don't want him wandering off to Warrington like one or two others have done. Definitely want him back here. But he's a very articulate young man. We were very impressed at the first Riversiders meeting he attended, just how articulate he is and how level-headed he is. So, looking at the game against Lee, was that just what we needed, you know, at this time of the season? It was one tough encounter. Do you feel that that was really good for us?
I reckon when everybody saw the fixture list at the start of the season and they saw Lee away the last game, I think everybody, even though we didn't know how well Lee were going to perform at that time, I think everybody knew that was going to be a big game. I think the way that it fell, you know, Lee have got a lot of staff, a lot of players who potentially have been here. You know, and it's always difficult playing against people who've been at this club, but everyone's got a point to prove. And the night itself, it reminded me of the old Central Park days. You know, there were fireworks before the game, and the smell of smoke in the air, and there was dew on the grass, and the game itself was as close to a test match as you'd see. You know, in the second half, it was percentages, and I know there was a lot of conjecture about the potential try for Oliver Gildart, and then they said they would have won the game, but I go back and say we wouldn't have played the last 20 minutes the way we played the last 20 minutes if there was a try. There's no way we would have been kicking on third tackle, things like that. So, but it just felt a really big game, and you know, again, there's been a number of sold out signs throughout Super League this season, which has been terrific. Viewing figures are up, TV attendances are up, so there's a lot to like. But that was a pretty special night.
Are we really pleased with the attendances here at Wigan? It's second only to Leeds, haven't we, over the season?
Yeah, you know, the season tickets are considerably up. They're probably at a level that was at probably 89 years ago, which is good. You know, World Cups is always difficult to work out. You know, whether who you're playing, etc. But I think we're in a good place. You know, we realistically, with the signings we made, we're going to have to need a few more to pay for it. You know, that's the way this game works. But you know, I think I know we'll talk about ownership in a little while. But you know, we've got a guy who owns both now. For many years, we've not been able to have a say at anything that happens over there. And that will change moving forward. So there's a lot to look forward to, and you know, the stadium experience and getting fans through there is a big focus of ours over the season.
Still on the league game, 10-6. It could have gone either way in the last minute of the game. But do you think that shows a big part of where we've come from? That mentally we're a lot stronger, discipline's a lot better, and we control games better. Do you feel that you know, we were never in danger of losing that game?
You know, I wouldn't say danger because you know, I thought we was completely in control of the semi-final, and then Joe Sharks gets, you know, sent off for something that on another day might not have been. So I would think we were in control, but never comfortable. You know, it was a horrible loss, to be honest. But when you've got a kicking game like what Harry's got, you know, out of hand, his statistics again, and his knowledge show that he's managing games very, very well. When you've got your star player who's better friends leading kick chases and things like that, they're the good habits you're talking about. And when you've got desperation in your goal line defence, which we've had all season, then we're in a really good place. So I wouldn't say we was in control. You know, like you guys, I did not enjoy the last 10 minutes one bit at all. It was I saw enough to know that we were. I always look at it this way: if mentally they're in the right place, they'll be okay in games. Matt has a sign in the Sol Suite downstairs that says 80% Wigan, 20% now. So if we concentrate on our 80%, then we'll be okay.
we say moments when matches, and you mentioned Harry there, but Harry, his determination to get the ball when there was a loose ball, bring possession away, those are the moments that we talk about, those are the moments that came.
Harry's the toughest kid, let's say. One of the toughest, emotionally, mentally strong. He had a nightmare kicking goals over here a few weeks ago. Yeah, he put his hand up to kick a drop goal from 40 yards. Not many people do that. That takes absolute guts and courage. And that's why all his teammates adore him. That's why all his teammates see all the extra work he does. And people start to realise, you know, all this kicking stats and everything, he's a massive contributing factor to us winning games.
Do you think the calibre of that game for Lee, they threw everything in there, do you think that was the demise for them the week after, because they were a shadow of themselves when they went up to Hull KR?
Yeah, emotionally they invested a lot in the game, and I think it is difficult to back up and do that, you know, the following week. Again, after the game, I don't particularly think that how the club acted with regard to the chairman, and not, you know, that has an emotional effect on players as well. You know, we may lose games, but we'll always lose it with integrity and humility. And I think if you do it another way, it almost gives you players an excuse to have a week off the following week. I think going to Hull Kingston Rovers is it's a bloody tough place. You know, it's the crowd are there. There's a great atmosphere. The away dressing rooms are small and dark, and when you're in there, the last thing you feel like doing is going play rugby. You know, they use their environment to their advantage, and I don't blame them one bit. So I think it was always going to be difficult to back up after us playing League.
You touched there on chairman. How good was it that Matty brought Ian to the forefront to raise the trophy? As fans, we all appreciated it, but Ian just seemed so reticent on these occasions.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it, but actually Liam Farrell offered it for him to go up and get the trophy. And I think probably that meant more to Ian than anything, because you know once your players do it, as your captain does it, that means a lot. You know, Matt and Ian have got a really good friendship, but I think that was a really special moment from Liam. And Ian turned it down, but it didn't matter. The fact that he thought that it was the right thing to do, you know, that'll keep Ian company for a very, very long time. I think the way that Matt handled the victory, you know, he absolutely nails his post-match stuff every single week, but he was very humble and he was very contained. He still knows that was only one step on ultimately where we want to get to.
Do you think Derek Beaumont would have needed inviting to lift the shield?
You know, potentially he's what the game's needed for a very, very long time. You know, he's done something there. He's pinned his hat on the Leopards, and you know, he's had an economic impact on the town. You know, it's really reinvigorated the place. The crowds are up through the roof. You know, to finish where they finished in the league and to win the Challenge Cup, you know, it's fairy tale stuff. So I think he's done a terrific job. Like I said, emotionally, I think he could have done things better on a couple of occasions. But I think he's added a little bit of spice to the Wigan League games, which will only benefit us here as well, moving forward. So I'm all in favour of it.
Was it your idea when they attended here to do this table setting on in leopard print?
Indeed. I said to Mandy in the office, I said, I wanted to try something. Can you buy some leopard print handcuffs? So I want to put them in Derek's place, so I'll give him a but he loved it, you know, it's just a little bit
After that game, he did say that he would want to emulate what we do. He wants to do with Lee what we do here at Wigan, which, you know, there's evidence of that going out into the community and, as you say, spreading the word on that. But he seems very impressed with the way we do things here at Wigan.
Yeah, I think that didn't just come on the back of the handcuffs. I think what we did after the game, I think Jack Hughes played his 300th game, and so we like to present other players. I just think it's a classic thing to do, to recognise your opponents, and our players love it. They think it's the right thing to do. So we got them all in the changing rooms, and Derek just witnessed us getting Jack out, and he just said, "Oh, I'm blown away by that." So, Jack, you have to remember, is one of ours. We produced him, and he went on to have a fantastic career. But we like to do things a little bit different. We like to think outside the box, and we challenge each other to think outside the box, to do things differently.
I think if you're playing for another club, I know you did it with Jack, he's one of our own, but we've done it with others that haven't come through our system. And I think it is classy, really classy, and shows where our club's at. I think we'll touch on ownership after an Ian, but I do think that the integrity of the club is very high under Ian's tutorage.
We like to do things the right way. There's probably 50 things in here that people don't know about that we do, but we know it's the right thing to do, and we don't do it to get recognition. But you never know, you might be doing it to somebody who you want to sign down the line, or somebody says something, and I think we're respected in that way. And ultimately that's driven by the owner. He gives me a license to go and make gestures and do things and think a bit differently. He has a way of saying that he always says that's not the Wigan style. This is the Wigan style. So he leads that.
Brilliant. So going back to the season, how pleased were you with the reserves retaining the grand final trophy?
Yeah, it was amazing. Today I've been 3 times a year. There's rugby league council meetings. Whew, they're painful. Yeah, this was a 6-hour meeting. 6-hour meeting today. So I've just got back. But one of the topics was player pathway, and we firmly believe that the correct way is to make the reserves as strong as possible. Now, not every club believes that way, because it turns into a finance decision, and we don't believe player pathway should be a finance decision. But that grand final, the reserves grand final at the weekend, in our eyes, is what it should be. A proper contest with first teamers playing it to try and get the fitness to get back into the first team. And to be brutally honest, some clubs are playing at it. In order to get better and get the player pathway better, we need much more commitment from not just 3 or 4 clubs at the top, everybody. So I know that was one of the topics of discussion today, and the RFL are actually on the same page as us, so we're hopeful that there'll be more effort like that.
Were you delighted with the 24-0 score?
Yeah, I'm not as sick as you lot then. I'm just taking it away. But I think if you look at the coaches, it's great scoring points, but in them conditions, controlling ball, defending your line, they're the habits. That's what keeps coaches happy. I was pleased. I was pleased the game went ahead. We was nervous right up to kick-off, because that gets called off and Bevan can't play this weekend. So it's literally it's touch and go. So yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one.
You said before about the youth system. We've got a big talented squad, but a lot of that is because of our youth system. Yes.
100%. It's the business model is based on it. We recruit. We've got outstanding staff who dedicate so much time and effort and emotional energy into these players. Not just making them good rugby players, but making good kids. Wayne always says this, but even if a player leaves here, he wants somebody to come back in 10, 15 years' time and say, "Listen, I've got a job now. This is what I'm doing," and because of the good traits that you put in me at Wigan. So that's very important to us.
So we'll talk about Hull KR now. We've got that game. Which camp are you in? Because some people think having the week off is good, and some people think it's the momentum, keep the momentum going. I've been a former player. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you why. I think the way we've done it's good, because we didn't have a week off. On Friday here, there was a 13 on 13 session against the reserve stroke academy and staff first team. And I won't say it won't be as hard as a game, but it was as intense as a game. And
watched it and it was, you know, Matt likes to train here with music blasting because it encourages communication. And I watched it and it was full on. It was really full on. So I don't think we've had a week of rest. We've cut days down a little bit. You know, at this time of the season with 2 or 3 weeks, you know, to go, you're not going to get any stronger. You're not going to get any fitter. Our coach's job is managing the mental fatigue of a 10-month season. The reality is every player is probably carrying some kind of injury now. So it's how we recover, how we manage injuries, manage mental injuries. So I personally think the way we've done it this year with the week off has certainly helped us. I'm really pleased we've got the home tie. You know, we're about to go overseas to Castle. I know the challenges that St Helens are having this week with their travel. It's
No sympathy here, Kris.
Do you know what though? We have to show sympathy. I'll tell you why we have to show sympathy. Because in the last minute, in the 5 days, they've had to find a plane in the busiest time of the year, in a Rugby Union World Cup when prices are free. But the game feels that. So that's coming out of the commercial pot. So, you know, I know how much it's cost to get them over there this week. So that affects us. So forget St Helens, the rugby club, from a business decision, I guess it's been bloody hard to pull that off. And we're all feeling the pinch of that.
Still can't feel sorry. So, do you feel that, I mean, we've had 4 meetups with Hull KR, do you feel that we know this team well? It's 2 each. Do you think that this is the one where the lads don't need the motivation, they're going to go out there and do the job?
Well, look, it's a semi-final, so what's happened in the past, they won't be thinking about that. They won't be thinking about winning it 3-2. This is about getting to Old Trafford. We always say, well, you know, what's your why? Is our why greater than their why? And I think we've got a group at the minute who's self-policing. The lads won the league leaders, and you typically think that, you know, we want to celebrate, but Faz came to see me and he said, we don't want to celebrate, we're going to go and have a meal on Sunday afternoon in Manchester. I'm like, that's weird, you know. I'm usually used to hanging out with Gary Connolly, they know the importance of the game. We're up against a very, very well-drilled side. We don't make lots of errors. We've got an outstanding kicking game. We've got a great young coach in Willie Peters who, we've all got a soft spot for Willie. He did great for us when he was here. He was my next door neighbour for 2 years, and he's a really good lad. And I really want him to do well, but not on Saturday. But it'll be a really tough game.
You said about the lads not celebrating, but you mentioned about 13 on 13. Does that mean that the reserves didn't get a chance to have a mad Monday, that they had to save themselves to help out?
No, it's not happened. Not happened at all. I know the women's team, they went for a meal and a few drinks last night, but the academy lads and the reserve lads, they've been in pretty much every day, so we had different days.
You mentioned women's teams, the youth and that, but we've really expanded. We have the inclusivity with the PDRL, LDRL, the wheelchairs. How good does that make you feel that our sport is one that so many varieties of teams can be, everybody's welcome? Yeah,
it's amazing. We've had some training sessions here where the lads are training with every single other player from every other team, regardless of gender or ability. This is why we're here ultimately, to win trophies. But what we're trying to do as well is show that anything's possible for anybody. And I think now more than ever, you can play for Wigan. You really can. And I think if we're having an impact on people's lives and on our communities, then it's only going to feed straight back into us anyway. So it's this place has been an absolute godsend for us, to be honest. It is like a proper clubhouse, and all day, every day, people are coming in, players of all gender and ability, and anyone can train anywhere, anyone can do anything, everyone's accepted. And I think from outside looking in, it looks a really tight club, and I get that comments from other clubs. So it's something I think we're really proud of, and something that I know that Mike Ganson coming in, it's something that he wants to expand on and take further as well.
As well as for the player themselves, how good is it when you see that it widens the networks, it gives them self-esteem, it's really beneficial to the families? Perhaps I'm talking with the LDRL and the PDRL, and we've done interviews with them in the South Stand, and they're just so elated and so much more confident. We see it through the season.
Look, it's genuine impact on lives. That's ultimately that we play sport and it's happy, and at the end of the day, if we lose or win, it's a game. I know we're all upset, but we can go on to our families, and my daughter will still go and hug me and things like that. But what we're doing in the community, the impact, is changing lives. And we stress to our players right day one of pre-season where we spend a lot of time in here. We do, Matt does a thing called hero and hardship, and every single player, there's beauty to this, every single player has to stand up in front, and they do it all, they do 2 or 3 a day, and everyone has to talk who the hero is in life, not just in rugby, and also a hardship and how you're overcoming. And it's as emotional as it gets in here. And what Matt's doing by that is he's grounding them, to think that there's a bigger purpose here. It's a rugby club, and we're here to win this, but there's something bigger about impacting people's lives, isn't there?
Definitely. So looking at over the season, how good is it that we've got a nomination for Coach of the Year, nomination for Man of Steel, and a nomination for Young Player of the Year? How good is that?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, isn't it? It shows we're doing some things right. I think. Look, I'm biased. I like to think we walk away with a handful, but there are some really, really good players, really good coaches throughout the league. I see what Bevan brings. I see what he brings on a daily basis. I see the moments of magic. He could easily walk away with Man of Steel, and I don't think anybody in the competition will have a problem with it. And ultimately, I think that's what we all should be aiming for. In the past, there have been people who've won Man of Steel, and there have been conjectures at other clubs. I think if Bevan won it, everyone would stand up and say that's the right decision. I probably think that similar with Matt as well. I think he has an affinity. He has an affinity with his players. He has an affinity with other coaches. The media like him because he gives well-rounded answers and he's accessible. And I think probably Super League like him as well for his articulation. I think he represents the club and the sport really, really well. Brad O'Neill, we forget how young he is. He's played in some very, very big games. He won the Challenge Cup, obviously, at Tottenham with us. He's an energy provider around the facility. He's got a really good chance. And then, of course, Abbas, top try scorer. He's had an incredible year. Incredible. I remember when we signed him, and I wrote in the press release, he will become a cult hero. I remember it, and he is that now. He makes very little errors, he makes huge yards, and he scores ridiculous strides. It's fantastic. And don't underestimate the impact that he has on Bevan French, which not a lot of people know. They've grown up together, they live together. Then keeping Bevan happy is good for Abbas. They're really good for each other. So, look, we're in a good place. The Man of Steel's next Tuesday night in Manchester. Who knows?
We all hope so, don't we? We'll all have the prayer mats out. We have to use it for Saturday first, and then we'll concentrate on Tuesday after that. So before we sort of mentioned about new signings, but first of all, I'd like to talk about the retentions, the young players that have got the 4-year contracts and that. Is that sort of decisions you and Ian have made, or was it always going to be?
Well, this year's been a bit different, really, hasn't it? Because Ian's been included in everything that we've done, but ultimately it's for next year. So me and Ian speak every day. Every decision that me and Ian have made, probably over the last 10 years, Matt's been a part of.
you know, I speak to Matt more than anybody. So he's very much been a part of recruitment. Succession planning is what's made this club successful over many years. I'd love to sign every single player on 4 or 5 years, but the reality is you can't do it. You can't do it for a number of reasons. First of all, it's a salary cap sport, and we have to remember that, and rules are changing each season. Second of all, probably the most important, the game is now, it's got so many player managers involved who are ultimately driving greater values for their players. So I would love nothing more than to say I've got 10 or 15 players on 5-year contracts, because that means my job's done for the next few years. But I can't do that because of it would be harsh to say other forces at play, but something out of my control. Players' individual ambitions. You know, some might want to go to the NRL. I can't keep every player. Every player's got a right to earn as much as he can. I love the thought of loyalty and bringing something to the club, but I almost think it's a thing of the past, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's a reality of professional sport where we're at now. And the challenge and the hard thing, I guess, certainly for Matt, is that his philosophy and focus is on building connections and relationships and building a very tight group. But we know during the process of the season, no matter how tight you make it, there will be a few chinks when people leave, and that's difficult for a fan to understand. But that's the harsh reality of managing and building a squad each year. But you know, we speak every single day on it. This is the stuff that keeps us awake at night.
Are you pleased with all the signings, you know, in the long-term planning of things? Have we got a lot in place now?
Yeah, you know, I have tables and everything in my office, and I said, this is who we've got for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. And I'm updating that all the time. You know, I have a good temperature, like I said, at this time, and I think people in this town have a good temperature of rugby league. So it won't come as a surprise to you who you're thinking I need to tie down. You know, we're all thinking the same things, but that's the hard part, is doing it. So I know what will make people happy in this room. I know what will make Matt happy as a coach, and it's my job to try and make it happen. So you know, the players will leave. That's inevitable. That's part of sport. And we've got some, you know, really fantastic players coming in. And you know, I think Sam Walters in particular. You know, I've never seen a signing become a Wigan fan before he's ever played a game. It's madness. Well, I think we did a lot of work on him, and then probably 3 or 4 weeks before we really burst onto the scene, you know, we got the deal done, and then he just went up another level. So he's good. We're really excited by Jackie Chan. You know, you guys will absolutely love this kid. Really love him. I think he'll be industrious. I think he'll bring aggression. I think he'll be the player who will turn up to every single function. He will go to in every single school. He'll train as hard as he can every day. I know his dad, Alex, Chan very well, and you know, he's made of the right stuff. Adam Kieran is a ridiculously talented player, very technically gifted rugby league player. He will bring a lot to the club. I'm really looking forward to working with him. Who else we got? Oh, I've got Cruz, obviously. Cruz, that came out of the blue. Again, there was rumours he was going elsewhere. Then Matt and myself did a virtual call with him, and we probably did about 2 or 3 virtual calls with him, and you know, he wanted to be part of our plan. So you know, we're in a strong place. We've got a semi-final this week, and you know, fingers crossed for next week, and then hopefully we'll be in a position to say this is your squad moving forward before we can get a shirt on sale, which will come out in October. So that's the plan.
Shirt out in October, that's good. We're in October now, it's coming out next week. So that's all really, really good news. And now what I want to ask you, you're saying there about your tables on the wall and your negotiating, you're flying to Australia and everything. As a player, did you ever feel that this would be where you would finish up at Wigan?
No, listen, I know loads of you guys in the room. You've been good to me for many, many years. You might remember that I said that when I finished that, I never wanted to be a coach because ultimately it takes over your life. So now we're sat here, and look, it's a very, very hard job. You know, I don't mind saying in front of you guys, you're the most demanding bunch of fans. But it's a dream, isn't it? You know, if you said I want to be doing this, so but it's tough, you know. Matt can win the trophies, players can win the trophies. Yeah, if something go wrong, it's my fault. That's. But I know what I signed up for. 10 years ago, the chairman sat me in his office and told me, he said, you'll be chief exec before I leave. So with it comes a hell of a lot of responsibility. You know, over the years I've become stronger. You know, really stronger. You have to put yourself out there. You have to take the good. I always say, you know, there are people in my position at other clubs who go like this, and I just try to remain balanced throughout. You know, triumph and disaster, and just try and take each day as they come. But it's an unbelievable job. I'm very lucky to do it. I've been lucky with the mentorship of Ian, and I've had some great help along the way from the likes of Michael Maguire and Wayne. I'm hopeful that, you know, I'm doing a good job, and I know I could do better on other things, and we'll just keep getting better.
We appreciate what Ian has done for us since he came here in 2007. How good has it been working with him and developing yourself and watching how he handles things and how he keeps a good business head on things?
He's a fan. You know, he's got loads going on in his life with other businesses. But this is the phone call he likes to make. You know, he'll get on and say, you know, what's Matt thinking for the weekend? And this is the time I want to go home. Usually about 6 o'clock, and he wants to talk to me for half an hour. But you can see it's his hobby, it's his passion, and you know, his legacy. What incredible! This is legacy. The trophies he's done, the money he's invested. Robin Park, you know, this has been a dream for me to. This has been like a playground for me, you know, to come up with ideas and do all this, and he's backed me to do it. And you know, I was at a period post playing career, which every single player will go through, and it's a very, very nervous time where you don't know what to do next. And I was lucky that I found Ian, and he saw something in me that he would like to work with. And I remember, I'll tell you a story. He tried to sign me to go and play for London Broncos at the time when he owned that. And he got a train up from London and a taxi to the Cherry Gardens pub on Wigan Line there. And he walked in and he gave me an envelope, and it was his CV. And he said, just spend 10 minutes reading that, and I'll go and get a pint over there. And then 10 minutes later he came back and said, have you any questions about my business or my history or anything? And I had a few. And then we just said, why are you here? And then he just said, well, I have a conversation with Andrew Farrell. He speaks very highly of you, and I'd like you to come to London as a player or to work. But at the time I couldn't go. And fast forward 10 months later, he came to Wigan, and then he invited me to come in. So I was very, very lucky that I found someone like Ian, and that's something I would advise our players to do now. I think there are opportunities, even when you're playing, to network a little bit and to try and build connections with people who can help you post-career. Because as much as this is a great job and you get paid, you know, pretty well for should I say, above average for an ordinary employee, it's nowhere near like any other sport. So every single player who plays rugby league will have to go to work.
after they finished. And the game's getting harder and the game's getting faster, and potentially it means careers are getting stronger. So we're doing a lot more work with our players about what they do post-career. And I will just say one thing, we've got an incredible welfare officer in Tom Fitzpatrick. And yesterday I received his welfare report for the season, which is graded by the RFL, and he scored 87 out of 88. So it's
Wow.
so the work he's doing with not just kind of putting players on courses, he gives them financial advice, he gives young lads cooking advice, he does work experience. Jack Farron, the young lads, he'll come back and join the first grade at the end of next season. His first 2 weeks, he'll be working on building site, and then after work, he'll be coming to train. And it's that harsh reality. This is what life's about. You can either take this route or this route, and this is all led by Tom, and he's doing a really wonderful job to create really good people who cares about life after sport.
Brilliant. I can understand why I'm telling him I'm his stalker, because I'm always chasing him up with, even as of his age, he's coming back, but he's evidently a busy chap, isn't he? So I'll let him off in future. So, again with Ian, during Ian's period, we've done some really way out things, taking Super League over to Australia, playing Hull, doing the trip down to Millwall. How forward thinking has Ian been about spreading the word of rugby league, not just Wigan?
London's very important to him. He obviously lives down that way, and he sees that as an area which rugby league should be played. So that's always been a major focus for him, and that's the reason he took the game to Millwall. I think over the years, he's probably been perceived as the villain within the game, challenging the governing body to do better, and challenging chief executive officers of RFL and Super League, etc. But I will say he's always done it with the right thing in mind, and that's not Wigan, by the way. He's always said to me, you fight for Wigan, but you need to fight for the game more than anybody else. So he's always done it in the right way. He absolutely adores the sport, and he adores the club. So visionary, he's allowed us to, he'll challenge us. I can go to him with an idea, and he'll make me work hard to get it over the line, which is terrific. I think, we've had some really, as the sport, as life has become so hyper-connected over the last decade, we've had some hard stuff to deal with off the field. And there are times when this will come to me, and I've sat there and thinking, I'm going to phone him and tell him. And the most difficult phone calls that I've had to make have been the ones he's dealt with so well. It's like, don't worry, what are you going to do about it? Let's talk it through. Go ahead, sort it. These are the phone calls that I've been most nervous of making. So I guess from a leader point of view, he's made me feel calm when I've had to make big decisions. And I guess that's all you want. That's all you want from someone who's trusting you with his money.
On the money front, how difficult, the COVID years, how much did Ian have to support us there? And we've still got a legacy of that we've got to overcome.
It's, we weren't in a particularly great way or pre-COVID. We base our industry, our revenue on customers, people through gates, selling things that at the end of the day our players needed to get paid. We went through a very, very challenging process where the game was shut down for 3 or 4 months, no revenue coming in. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was have a Zoom with 35 players saying, I'm going to have to do salary cuts with you. And 35 players drilled me for 2 hours. It was stressful. And during that whole lockdown period, there was probably 5 of us in here who carried on and worked every day, trying to make things work. And if it potentially wasn't for government support, it would be coming out of Ian's pocket. And it was hard for him because he's the leader, so everything fell on him. So it was a really, really challenging time. I think we learned a lot about each other, learned a lot about the ins and outs of the business as well. So you were in a position where you could start looking at areas where you might have been spending too much or investing in other areas. But it was something that nothing would have ever prepared you for, and probably from a business point of view, probably one of the biggest lessons, I guess, that we'll ever go through. But it was a really, really tough period for the sport, and I think I won't say we're 100% recovered, but we've fought back to a good place now. I think the news with the broadcast money was disappointing, but we've all just got to kind of cut our cloths over the next few years. Trust IMG, because IMG predicted that this would happen before an upward trajectory, and see what it takes us.
So looking to the future, I should imagine there's been involvement with Mike Danson for a few months. It's not just all going to happen overnight. How good is it, like you touched on it before, that we've got the shared stadium and joint working to a big degree?
Yeah, I guess I've had to go to London probably once a month for the last 16 months, which is I've known for a while what's been happening, but so I've got to know Mike, intimately and know his vision. I remember when Ian first phoned me to tell me that he just had dinner with the next owner. I won't say there was elation, but I think he was excited that he had found a man with similar values to him. Ian had dinner with him and he got a really good feel about his community focus. Very humble man, ridiculously wealthy but very grounded. And I also think one of the greatest pressures of ownership is finding your next owner. I think potentially Ian's legacy could have been ruined if he would have handed the club to somebody who didn't kind of match or build what we'd achieved here. So that was a real pressure for Ian. So there was genuine relief there, and I think during the last 12 to 14 months, we've had some really long, in-depth board meetings about what the future looks like, and it's been almost the end of an era for me with Ian, because he's been so important in my life, and it's been a really reflective period for me as well, because that's come to an end. I always thought that I would go when Ian went, if I'm being honest, and I've had a few conversations with Mike about what the future looks like. So I think when you guys meet him, I mean, he's a very, very quiet man, a very private man. When you meet him, you'll really warm to him. You'll warm to his knowledge of the club. He understands the sport, he understands the town and the community, so I think he'll be really good for us.
That sounds absolutely terrific.
I think there'll be great individual moments through the year. I enjoy watching this team play. I get a lot of satisfaction. I enjoy their endeavour, I enjoy their effort. I enjoy how close they are and how sociable they are. I enjoy standing at the back and watching Matt do his stuff. The biggest signing we've made is getting Matt for 4 years. I really believe that. He will coach England one day. The people will come knocking for him, but he's ultimately committed to us. But there are many coaches in Super League now who are all coaching the same way. There are people who try things and look at things differently, and they're the ones who are making a difference, and Matt falls into that category. So I enjoy watching Matt. I've loved watching Tommy and Lockers develop. I think over the course of the year they've come on so much, and when you see these guys delivering team meetings now and players hanging on every word, and then Lockers jumps in the wrestle session and he can still throw everybody about. It's a really good place. I think we're in a good place. I hope we get what we deserve for the weekend, because I do. I believe in the sporting gods. I believe if you put the effort in and you put the focus in, you will get rewarded. And I think we've done a lot of good things, but it's never going to be easy. So I don't know if there was a personal highlight in that. What my personal highlight is just I enjoy what this group have become, I guess.
It seems like we're going to get bigger, stronger, and just get the feeling that we're on the cusp of something amazing. We're going to really be taking off for the next few seasons.
Yeah, the sport's about cycles as well, and whatever you say about St Helens over the hill, they've done incredible. You know, they really have. But potentially a couple of their players are now going off the other side and need to start refilling. We're at a point where we're probably just going the other way. Similar to Catalan, you know, they've had a huge impact, a huge influence on that group. They've got 5 or 6 players leaving. That'll be a little bit different. We've got Hull KR now coming up. They're raising the bar. You've got Hull who openly said that they would go with the younger squad because finances aren't great. So it's all about cycles. It's all about peaking at the right time. We've done a lot of work to create and recruit and retain a good squad, but it doesn't mean anything unless you do it every day. You know, we use this facility, to be honest, as part of our retention. You know, we do a presentation, but this doesn't mean anything unless you do the hard work. You know, you buy into everything, you commit, you're honest with each other. And ever since the more and more I'm in this game, it's just not rocket science. You find a group of good people who are committed to each other and trust your coach and trust each other, and anything possible.
We've got it cracked, haven't we? You know. So, Kris tonight actually volunteered to come here. That's unusual. We don't get many volunteers. We love our club and we love what our club represents, and we really do want you to keep doing what you've been doing. There was a rumour that we got the accountant from Warrington when we made all these signs and we
I'll try to find a word for it. It's about there are rules as well, aren't there? There are salary cap rules and marquee play rules. There's all kinds of things in there. Many people make comments without actually knowing the actual intricacies of dealing with it. At the end of the day, it's going to cost us a lot. We're backed by Ian and ownership to do it, and it's up to us to deliver on that. So it's exciting. Look, I think Luke will be good. I was chatting to someone at the back, and I'm not going to say he made me work to sign him, but the questions he asked were very different to what I'd say 90% of players would ask. You know, most players would say, how much am I getting? But what he did, he tested our system. He asked me about, he was our head of strength and conditioning, what was his focus, what's our recovery programs like. And I went away and I fed back to Matt after I met him and said, this was a very, very different interview, I guess. He asked me more questions than him, and I really like that. It shows somebody who's, I guess, interested in their craft and getting the best out of themselves. So he's really, really committed. He had his medical yesterday morning. He flew last night. He's in Kuala Lumpur at the minute, and he'll be in the UK tomorrow. So we'll see what he's doing. We might get him around, and all the rest of the signings they received the dates for coming back to pre-season sometime towards the end of November. But we've got a bit of business to do before then.
Yep. Brilliant. Let's just concentrate on Saturday, taking it a step at a time. So big round of applause for Kris. Because now I'm going to pass over to Lynn and to Rita, and then I believe you're going to do a job for us now.
We'd like you to be our representatives with you now and again. We would have loved to have had him here or at the dinner. I have spoken to him and he's got so many things to do. Obviously can't be there. But we have been busy. we have produced just a very simple poster, which I'll read out to you. The Riversiders wish to thank you for your hard work, dedication and perseverance to rebuild our club, the Wigan Warriors. We are sure that your decision to retire has been a difficult one to make. However, we are confident that you will continue to enjoy watching the Warriors. Hopefully as a fan, it will be less stressful than as the owner. The Riversiders remember the early days of your takeover at Wigan. The club had a tarnished reputation. You promised that this would be addressed and in future all dealings would be above board. You have delivered on that statement and encouraged a huge change in culture at our club. Thank you. We've enjoyed some iconic experiences under your stewardship. Taking a game to London to Millwall football ground was great. The stewards there were so impressed by the way rugby fans behaved. And it was good to enjoy the tour of London on a free coach and help to advertise our wonderful sport and team south of Watford. To build on that, you worked to take the Warriors to Australia. What a great opportunity for fans and players. The Riversiders have appreciated the countless privileges you have offered and have relished witnessing contract signings, attending Hall of Fame celebrations and benefiting from the good relationships between fans, players, coaching staff and management. The community of Wigan has been enhanced by the positive relationships fostered by the club. The Riversiders feel that they are valued members of that community. You've made some hard decisions regarding personnel on and off the pitch. The Riversiders appreciate your keenness to choose simply the best for Wigan. The education systems available at the Warriors Club at all levels will be a lasting testimony to your tenure at our club. And the Riversiders send their good wishes and support to you and your family and trust that you will enjoy more leisure time together. As the song goes, cherry and white is in our blood, and we know it's in yours too. Thanks for the memories. And as well as the female player award we didn't do the special recognition award either, because we were keeping that for Ian Milligan.
Well, he will be around the Farm Village on Saturday. I know it's his last home game, so I know he's invited everyone in the world into the podium. So that's all his family's coming, and he's wrote a nice piece in the programme. He usually eats before the game, but because it's in the afternoon and because he wants to cherish the day, he's going to eat after. So. I think when he comes to the Farm Village after, he'll be well oiled. Hopefully. I know we've got the end of season dinner on Sunday, where there'll be some special tributes to him there as well. And like I say, he's had an impact on all our lives. They'll be blown away by this. I think a couple of things. I think the way that you spoke about the community, and he's always said to me, his legacy, what he would like to be, will probably not be rugby, it will be education. And the fact that you've referenced that in there is something that he will hold dear. And Saturday will be a very, very testing day for him, I think. He's going to come up tomorrow to join the lads in the special event tomorrow night. He's phoned me every day this week asking about the team and everything. So I just urge you just to thank him when he's here. I'm sure you will. I know you will. He's a really, really important person. Certainly in my life, and I know all of your guys too. So I don't think he'll be a stranger to us all. I genuinely don't. I think he'll come and visit us. But the reality is he's giving everything he loves most in the world. So it's our job to look after him for him. So thank you so much, and I'll make sure he gets it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.